good downtown. I'm welcoming you to this wonderful presentation. We are going to begin soon. It's all about Toastmasters. How many of you already have speaking opportunities? Any classes? Okay, well, Toastmasters is a long-standing organization where you can learn to use your speaking skills effectively. Lots of us volunteer. Have you ever been to a meeting where you wish they'd get to the point? Or you sat in the chair and I know I've got to say something, but I just can't. It's too hard to stand up and say something. Well, Toastmasters is a wonderful environment. Early Words Toastmasters is hosting this group, and we meet every Tuesday at 6:05 a.m. until 7:30 in the Canterbury Park on the second floor. 6:05 a.m., it doesn't conflict with anything except sleep. So you can always come, drop in, see what's happening. We have a meeting agenda that includes speaking off the cuff. There'll be some prepared speeches, and people participate in facilitating the meeting, so then when you go to your volunteer group and they ask you to be the chairperson, you know what to do. Or if you're facilitating your work associates and you have to deal with conflict, you learn how to do that too. Hi, Bob. You brought brochures. Wonderful. Bob has Early Words brochures if you want more information about us. Are we about ready?
Yes.
Great. Welcome, everyone, and we're going to do a mock meeting today. Our theme is Toastmasters Facilitates Learning. So please welcome Patrick Locke, Early Words Library.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Fine.
How many of you are familiar with Toastmasters? That's great. Now, Toastmasters is an organization that helps people with public speaking, but in a larger sense, communication skills, as well as leadership skills. So we have a program that takes a person from a very beginning place, whether they have ever spoken in front of a group. Surely, though, they've attempted to communicate with other people. And at a very basic place, that interpersonal communication is a very important part of our life. So Toastmasters helps with that interpersonal communication. We are going to have a demonstration meeting today. And that demonstration meeting is for the purpose of showing you what happens at a Toastmasters meeting, what types of things we do in order to help each other develop our speaking skills. So we're going to go through a speech, an evaluation of a speech, and then something that we call table topics. And table topics is a type of program that helps you speak extemporaneously, off the cuff. You're given a subject to talk about for 1 to 2 minutes. And depending on what it is, you can do just about anything with it. So it helps people get rid of that fear of being able to speak without having prepared something for it. My own story. I joined Toastmasters initially in 1985. Now, my communication skills then was a large boot and a big mouth. I was in the construction business, and as long as people did what I told them to do, everything was fine. I graduated from that point where I was asked to run a company down in San Diego. I realized very quickly that I needed to develop some different skills. The big boot and the big mouth just wasn't going to get it at that level. So I asked my secretary to find a Toastmasters club because I had heard about Toastmasters, but I had never been involved in it, and all I knew was that they did something about speaking. So she found me a club, I started going, and here I am some years later, all the better for it. Now it didn't start out real great. I remember my first talk. I was about as nervous as I could be. I don't even know how I got through it. I don't even remember getting through it. However, I did. And the next one was a little bit better. The next one was a little bit better. And I started learning how to use my voice, how to use gestures, how to think on my feet. And after a period of time, I started getting comfortable with just talking to people. It's great. You like to talk to people? People are all we have. We can talk to the animals and we can talk to the trees, but we can't really communicate with them. We can only communicate with people. So having people and being able to express ourselves appropriately and effectively is a good thing. So that's what we're going to demonstrate here today. Our Toastmaster today is Wendy Kozlowski. And Wendy has been involved in Early Words Toastmasters for many years. She's a very accomplished speaker. And she's going to lead us through that meeting today. Wendy?
Thank you, Pat. Wait. Thank you. We're off to a great start. The Toastmasters program trains us to be more accomplished and comfortable expressing ourselves when speaking to groups and individuals. Listening and leadership skills also improve. As Toastmasters, we reflect upon our life experiences and give talks about things which interest us. One of the great things about choosing your topic is it's up to you. And there's a myriad of choices in everyone's life of what to talk about. Brain research during the last 10 to 20 years has demonstrated that increased conscious awareness of and reflection upon life and learning directly stimulate the frontal cortex. In general, brain stimulation increases neuron birth, activation, ganglia propagation, which in turn improves conversation of short-term and long-term memory. The frontal cortex is responsible for complex reasoning, strategic planning, and problem solving. As students, our studies result in similar mental stimulation. May I introduce other participants now? John Anderson is going to speak further to you today. He is president of the Early Words Toastmasters. He's the former membership vice president. Starting July 1st, John will be responsible for managing all Toastmasters public relations for Oregon and Southwest Washington. Today, John is speaking from the Toastmasters Advanced Communications Series, Communicating on Video, project number 3, When You're the Host. A summary of this project is to conduct a talk show. A host must be knowledgeable about each guest, be able to phrase questions well, be able to handle different personalities, and make guests feel relaxed and comfortable. His objectives are to conduct a successful interview, to understand the dynamics of a successful interview or talk show, to prepare questions to ask during the interview program, to present a positive, confident image on camera. The title of his 10 to 12 minute talk is Learn Communication Skills to Improve Employability. Help me welcome John Anderson.
Sit and join us. So Wendy, you own a company in town here, and you have for a number of years, and it's Teague's Interiors, and you're an artist. Tell us a little bit about Teague's Interiors.
Teague's Interiors is at the corner of Commerce and Hudson in downtown Longview. It's been in downtown Longview for 25 years. We are in our third location. The building we're in now was derelict when we acquired it. It had not been used for 2 years. The upstairs had not been used since 1964. So gradually, over the last 10 to 13 years, since late 99, we have rehabilitated the building, as well as use it for our place of business, where we work in people's homes to bring them resources for interior decorating, for repurposing, resources for fabric, window coverings, blinds and shades, reupholstery, and we have a workshop for chalk paint, decorative paint by Annie Sloan, which is our newest line that we've had now just over a year. So we have classes in our workshop, and we bring approximately 130 people to the corner of Commerce and Hudson every day.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much. Now, when you're an artist and you have an interiors business and an art gallery, it doesn't take a lot of people to run that type of business. And there is definitely some specialized skills, some artistic abilities, and some talent and skills and education that you've mastered over the years. In addition, your mom is involved with you in the business, and she does framing, I believe. Is that right? Yeah. So you're both really artists. So my question for you today is, because we're looking at the question of how do college students find employment while they're students? How do we improve our employability while we're going to school? Kristen was telling me that there was a fair, an employment fair, and Weyerhaeuser was here, or a company representing Weyerhaeuser, but they were only interested in speaking with graduates, with people who were finishing school. And there's a lot of students here, and they need employment. So that's why we're focusing today's session on that. So tell me, what kind of skills or talent or ability would you look for in a college student who you might consider to work part-time with you?
A lot of communication skills are involved in design work. Being able to meet the public, work on the phone, and of course the social media is big even to us now. We're a hands-on applied art, so the details of meeting a customer, going into a private home, and being responsible is very important. Being honest is very important, but also being able to focus on details in an environment that is new to you. So I look for someone who loves working with challenges that are new. Ours is a very dynamic business. You might be working with someone who needs to fix something that isn't working in their home in terms of arrangement. You might be working with someone in their home who just needs their window measured appropriately, because we guarantee the fit when we measure. So measuring accurately would cost us if you don't measure accurately. So we have hands-on opportunities. At the same time, we have what we call office needs for organizing our complicated orders. We not only go to the home and measure and specify, we design and draw up the specifications for the workroom that will locally fabricate window coverings, draperies, the cornice boards, the upholstery, changing the design of an existing sofa, and ordering the fabric appropriately. Then we make sure that it is picked up and delivered to the workroom in a timely fashion, and the workroom is kept on schedule, or we interface with the customer to let them know that we know it's going to be late.
All of those involve communication skills and the ability to organize multitasks. I find that 8th graders today are amazing. They can multitask wonderfully. They can talk a mile a minute, look at their iPhone, and paint a beautiful picture. I have a lot of faith in the young people of today being able to multitask. And that's what design is about. It's a very dynamic and exciting career. Working retail means you interface with strangers every day. And that is another skill that is important. You need to look the part of your job and show up on time. That's probably the biggest thing that I run into when I mentor students is, did they come the day and time they said? Can they operate their own vehicle and get to where I send them? And will they listen and come back with enthusiasm?
Well, that's wonderful. That begins to give me a clue, a hint of then my next question. That is, if you have a student employee and they're with you and they're doing well, what single thing or combination of behaviors might inspire you to say, you've earned a promotion, I'm going to raise your pay? Now, in today's economic climate, that's a very difficult thing for an employer to feel the confidence that they can do. Is there one thing or two things that you might share with us today that would be the clincher that would really inspire you to say, you deserve a raise, I'm giving you a raise?
Accomplishing tasks that might have been spontaneous or created out of need. That is something that comes up daily in design. And for someone to accomplish only what they're asked to do, a lot of people can do that. But when it comes to asking good questions that go outside the box in terms of what might be the solution for a customer's design colors, their placement in their home, or a resource that has been investigated. Today the world is full of resources and everybody's a designer, but how are you going to get it to their front step? Those kinds of challenges of problem solving, they mean a lot to us in our independent business. That would mean a permanent position.
There we go. Well, wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing this. So today's program, we're doing a talk show, and our next guest is Mr. Ray Vanderbilt. Ray, could you come and join us? Ray is the... So, Ray, you're the owner of Red Leaf Organic Coffee in West Kelso. So tell us a little bit about the coffee business. And you run from early in the morning to early in the evening, 7 days a week. That requires quite a staff of people. About how many people do you have working? And tell us a little bit about the coffee business.
Currently, we have 23 full and part-time employees. We have one location on West Main Street in Kelso. We have one location on Pacific Avenue in Woodland. And we will, in about 6 months, we'll have a third location out on Ocean Beach Highway by Fred Meyer. As John said, we're open from about 5:30 in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, 7 days a week, 364 days a year, which the only day we're closed, of course, is Christmas. So yes, it does require us to have quite a staff because in order to staff a full day, we need at least 2 shifts. We're busier in the morning than we are in the evening, but it's fast-paced all day. There's never a dull moment at Red Leaf. We are the busiest coffee shop in Kelso Longview area. We recently passed the Triangle Starbucks as being the most busy coffee shop, which we're quite proud of. And we're growing quickly.
Wonderful. So it's every week, maybe once or twice a week, that you're interviewing people or running an ad or talking with employees and asking if they have a friend or someone that they know who they might recommend. So tell us a little bit about the hiring process and what do you look for when a college student comes in and they say, well, you know, I have a full-time load of classes, or I have a, you know, half-time load of classes, but I really need a job. You know, what do you look for that's going to be that special thing that you know they're going to be a good fit in your business?
We number one and number two would probably just about equal. We look for time availability. We often are looking to fill evenings and weekends, which is shifts that our full-time people aren't always enthusiastic about filling. And number two is we look for people that are exceptional. In the coffee industry, when we go and do our trade shows and do classes on the type of people to hire, the rule of thumb in our industry is to hire people that could be described as rock stars. And this does not mean anything about tattoos or hairstyle or anything like that, but it's people that are overtly enthusiastic, people that are good with people, and are, as Wendy said, people that will show up on time and people that have fun in what they do.
Thank you very much. To keep moving on, I'd like to bring up our third guest, and that is Mr. Pat Palmer.
Hi, everybody.
So, Pat, you are the proud owner of Copies Today, and you're located on California, and you've been a lifetime resident, I believe, of the area, or pretty close, and you've been in business for many, many years here in Kelso Longview. Tell us a little bit, how many employees do you have in your firm? And I know there's a huge transformation going on in the printing and the copying industry today. Tell us a little bit about your business and about what you look for that special employee.
Well, John, it's very simple. When I interview folks, and I have since 1992, especially young people, the printing and copying industry is typically a pass-through kind of a career. It's a job phase, especially for young people. And I've had excellent track record finding and hiring exceptional young people. There's three things in the printing industry that are vital. The first one is an absolute attention to detail. The second one that I really look for, and it's an innocuous piece, but you can sense it in a young person. It's a servant's heart. It's someone who truly wants to help other people. The third one is, as Ray and Wendy have spoken about, is this fast-paced ability to deal with crazy, disparate types of information and to bring them together. The most important thing that I look for in the interview process is the ability of the young person to listen, to hear what my real question is. And having been a Toastmaster for 3 decades, I've developed some skills there, and I try to use those, and I upon hire, make sure that my staff understands that my job is to serve them, is to be their go-to person. I always make the joke that I put problem solver on my business card in 1992, and for the past 23 years, people have brought me nothing but problems. But the reality is that that's how you can be successful in the world, is solving the challenges that other people see and giving them the solution that fits into all of the pieces and parts. I'm sure Ray's had a customer who said, ooh, I just really didn't like the caramel, or something. Never happened, okay? And as a business owner, your job is to then develop the solution for that customer, no matter what it is, because it's about tomorrow, it's not about today, it's about the next time that you can help this person. And in my staffing, the changes that occur are widespread and way beyond my control. the best thing that I can do is to make sure that I show up early, I stay late, and I do everything that's in front of me. And when I make a promise, it's absolute and it has to be kept. And every small business person in Kelso Longview, I'm thinking the world, knows this at their heart and at their base. And when our employees embrace that one part, we all get to be successful and have more fun.
So a concluding question, I'll start with you, and if anyone has any other ideas, and that is, what would a student, what could a student, or what might a student learn from you, or from his time with you? What might they walk away with that will advance them in their career and in their life? I'll start with you, if anyone has another idea.
One of the most gratifying parts of being an employer is after an employee has moved on and they come back and they say, the training that I received with you has proved to be invaluable in everything else I've done. Thankfully, I've heard that several dozen times. The key to it is treating your staff with respect, understanding that people are human and make mistakes, laughing about how it is that we're going to work through to the real solution, and making sure that that culture inside of your business is such that every person that could possibly visit wants to visit because they've heard about you. We can talk about advertising, we can talk about marketing, we can talk about all the ways that people can sell a product. I am absolutely convinced that the best way to sell a product is to have sold an excellent one before. And in order to do that, you have to have people who are dedicated to the outcome, not the process, dedicated to the outcome, and the outcome's a happy customer.
I think to follow up with what you said there, Pat, we, in our business, we teach process in order to get that outcome. And we teach two things. We teach a pursuit of excellence, and we teach people who come to work for us to have a laser focus, because we're very fast-paced. And in today's world, where people's attention can be shifted from thing to thing so quickly, it's when you're on shift and you're working at Redleaf, your focus is laser. And people, after going through our training program of 2 or 3 months, they see themselves growing and say, I never would have been able to see myself listening to a headset and punching things into a computer and putting stickers on all at the same time. And so once they do move on, because the nature of our business is, people who come to work for us, they rarely come and say, I want to do coffee for the rest of my life. It's a transition job while they're in college, while they're working on other skills. And we have had that gratifying, experiences of people who have moved on and come back to talk to us later, saying, what we learned working for you guys served us very, very well.
Probably the biggest difference for design is that each individual in my business develops their clientele. We work with people in their homes, their personal space, and we work with customers all their life, it seems like sometimes. We might work on 1, 2, 3 houses that they have in the area. So the customer service aspect of being there for them, anticipating their needs, and bringing to them things that they want. That's a key. So a person in my business that's valuable to me would be someone who can see themselves as my customer, who can see themselves bringing their friends to be customers, and then to service them like their family.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a very informative session. I really appreciate the time that you've spent with us today. And if anyone has a question or two, we can answer a question or two, and then we'll move to the next section of our program today. Are there any questions? Well, thank you very much. Thank you.